Hi, my name's Emma. You might know me as Steal and Stitch. And me and my friend Christine have written a book called Zero Waste Kitchen, and it's crafty solutions to sustainable problems. Now for us, I think we're all struggling with how to change the way we live. We're so used to just buying stuff all the time and for it mounting up and chucking stuff away when we're done with it, that we really wanted to find ways of using some really simple craft skills that anybody can do to change how we live a little bit. So Zero Waste Kitchen focuses on the kitchen, and we have come up with a collection of different makes, and the one I'm going to share with you today is how to turn a t-shirt into a trivet, which seems a little bit bonkers, but what you can do with a t-shirt is you can create t-shirt yarn. And once you've made t-shirt yarn, you can plait it and create all sorts of things. Trivets, coasters, you can use t-shirt yarn to weave baskets, make rugs, like rag rugs. So there's lots and lots of ways of using this skill. And I'm going to show you how to make the yarn. All you're going to need for this is a t-shirt and a sharp pair of scissors. Now I have a collection of small boys that are growing at a rapid rate, so I've got a lot of old t-shirts lying around the house. You don't need a collection of small boys for this, but you do need an old t-shirt, and you can use one you've already got already, which you maybe is a bit moth-eaten or you just don't love anymore, and instead of kind of chucking it out, you could give it to charity shops, but they only sell about 20% of the stuff that they get donated, so 80% of that stuff is still going to landfill, which means turning your old t-shirt into something else is a much better use for it. And that's literally it. So, a pair of scissors and a t-shirt, and let's get started. Now what we're going to do first, I've got my t-shirt, I've actually turned it inside out because it's got a print on it. That print really isn't going to matter. It'll actually just create quite a nice stripe in your t-shirt yarn. And so we like it now nice and smooth, because the cleaner the cut, the cleaner the edge on the yarn. And what we want is this shape here, this sort of tube. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut. Actually, I'm going to fold it in half first, because it's less cutting and a more even finish. And actually this is a brilliant way if you're doing any sort of upcycling or remaking with clothes. Folding it in half first always assures an even cut. And I'm going across like this. You can use the top part as well and take off the sleeves, but for the sake of this video, to keep it nice and shortish, I'm going to just use this edge. So what we've now got are our two pieces. This one is a seamless t-shirt, which is actually brilliant for this kind of make. It doesn't matter if you've got a seamed t-shirt though, you'll just have a little bit of a seam in your yarn. And I'm folding it over so that it goes, we've got about, do you know what, I measure a lot by thumb, about a thumb's width across there, like that. And we're going to take our scissors. So what I would usually do is unpick this hem, but I've lost my unpicker, so you don't really want a bulky double width hem. So I'm actually going to go the lazy way, and I know this is zero waste, but I'm going to trim this off. And actually I can unpick it and weave it in later, like I'm going to do with the top half of my t-shirt. So I'm not worried about wasting this because it's going to come back into its own. So I've cut the hem off just like that, which means what we've got is just a nice piece of material. So folding it like that, as smooth as possible. Like I said, the smoother it is, the less creases there are, the neater the cut's going to be. I'm going to do it about my thumb's width. There we go. And I'm going to take my scissors. And again, in terms of measuring, you can measure this any way you like, but I use the tip of my thumb as my guide. So it's going to be about a thumb's width, and I'm literally, all I'm going to do is cut a straight line, and it's going to finish just over the edge of that. So it cuts all the way through the top layer and a smidge into the second. I'm going to do that all the way along my piece of fabric. Now, if we open this out, you'll see we've got this excellent, I feel like it's an octopus, but what we want to do is make it into, so it looks a bit more like a rib cage. I know that's quite a maudlin set of references, but what I'm doing is just getting my hands in like that, and I put both my hands together, and then all I need to do is lay it out like this, so that the spine, there we go, goes down the middle. And that's because what I need to do now is we're going to make this into one continuous length of t-shirt yarn. So I'm just tidying this up a bit so that it's easier to use. Now I'm going to start at one end. I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to cut diagonally from there to there. I'm going to do that all the way along. So from there to there, and here to here. And now what you'll see we've got, I'm just going to start pulling, because what will happen is those edges want to curl around on each other. And if you get any little, oh look, this is where there was a tiny bit of hem left, we'll just trim that. And that is the lovely part of t-shirt yarn. So I'm just going to ball it up, and I do this really simply. Actually, a nice way to do it is do it around your fingers to get started, and then you just start balling. Now I'm going to ball all of that, and then I can pass it to Christine. That was it. It's amazing. So now I'm going to pass you to Christine, and she is going to show you how to turn this into a trivet. Christine?
Thanks, Em. Hi, my name's Christine Leech. You may also know me as So Yeah. And as Emma said, I am the co-author of Zero Waste Kitchen, a lovely book full of ideas to help you make a more sustainable kitchen through crafting. Now I have my t-shirt yarn. I am going to show you how to make these cute little cat head coasters. They're really useful for your cups of tea, or if you make a bigger one, you can make it into a trivet, so you can put your pans on it when you take them off the stove. And you don't need that many materials for it. So I've got 3 different colours of t-shirt yarn. And I'm also going to use some scissors, and then I just need a needle and thread as well. So you don't need that much stuff. And I'm going to show you how to make it, and we're going to go overhead because it's just easier to see. So let's go. Now I've got the 3 colours of yarn, we can start making the trivet. What you need is about 2 meters of each colour. Woo-wee. And then you're going to start plaiting them together. So tie a knot, and you can either tape it to your surface or get a friend to hold it, and then start plaiting. You don't want to plait super tight, but you You just have to make sure it doesn't get all tangled up. When you reach the end of your plait, instead of tying a knot, you're going to sew a couple of little over stitches to hold all your fabrics together, just to make it a bit neater and a bit flatter. So with the needle and thread, just sew a few stitches. So when you've finished your overstitching to hold the ends together, you're going to start creating your trivet cat head. And you're going to do that by rolling the t-shirt yarn up into a sort of oval shape. And you're going to catch it together with a few overstitches. Like so. Then you're going to gradually wind your trivet around itself and keep sewing to hold it all in place. So you can either sew as you go, or you could like pin and sew. I'm going to try and sew as I go. So when you're about 4 centimetres from the end, you can start creating your cat ears. And you do that by simply making a little pinch shape, like so. And then you're going to sew some stitches here to hold that ear shape in place. So a couple of over stitches to hold it in place. And then about 4 centimetres later, you're going to repeat and make the second ear. Keeping it cute. Then we're going to make the second ear with a little point here. Like so. Then you need to sew here to hold that in place there. So you could finish off this cotton and then start again later on. So this second ear about here, about here. And then continue on till you reach the end. So as you approach the end, instead of finishing off with a knot, you want to do as you did before, and you could trim away some of the excess. And then you're gradually going to just finish off the plait. And then you're going to sew the loose tails in place. So there you go, your very own cat's head coaster, or trivet, depending on how big you made it. I hope you enjoyed that project, and there's loads more in our book Zero Waste Kitchen. There's lots of different projects that will just help you get your crafting more sustainable and get your kitchen more sustainable too. So I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Bye.